Yeah, yo, sometimes you gotta go to war for what you believe in. Sometimes you gotta go to war for what it is that you want, what you see that's right. I'm about to go to war, but lyrically. War cry, baby. Yeah. Hey yo, war cries echoes in the background. That's the sound of soldiers getting ripped up and tore down. Lyrically dismantle metaphors and manhandle. Marauder with
Welcome back to the podcast, Impose My Will. It's your brother, Ramone. I'm back with my big bro, Joe. How you doing today, my man?
Man, I'm doing good. We're a little tired today, but I'm good, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Same here, man. I'm kind of beat, to be honest with you. But you know how that go. You had those days, those times, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. So last weekend we had the Crawford versus Madrimov. Madrimov. The zone card, matchroom card. It was a Riyadh season event that was held in the United States in Los Angeles, California. It is the first one of its kind. And truth be told, this is probably one of the biggest fight cards, if not the biggest fight card in the United States, based off of the main card and the particular fights. Most of these fights, if not all of them, really could have been a main event on some kind of card.
Oh yeah.
Or another. So shout out to Your Highness Turkey Al-Sheikh for bringing the whole Riyadh season and the flavoring and all of that to the United States. According to him, this is not the first time they're going to bring more to the United States. I could see him probably being either back in LA or Vegas, depending on, the fights. The beautiful thing is he's trying to make the biggest fights, right? He's trying to make the biggest of the biggest fights. So we could see him, I can see him bringing it to either MGM or T-Mobile or something like that in Vegas, fight capital. So awesome card for the most part, man. What's your thoughts on just the overall card before we start really kind of breaking it down?
Just overall on the card, man, like you said, possibly the best fight in boxing history. I mean, the best fight card in boxing history, man. Like,
yeah.
The way Al-Sheikh is approaching this is like a fan first. Yeah, I mean, it's
absolutely.
When you heard him talking, he was like, it's fights he wants to see and what the fans want to see. That's how and he's actually like bringing that. The whole atmosphere, the vibe of this event, it felt like the Super Bowl for boxing.
It did. No, it really did.
You know what I mean? Like, you got Eminem performing. That was a whole concert in itself, which I wasn't expecting. I just thought he was, do a bring Westcard out, do a song, or that's it. Like, he put on the whole show. So, like,
he sure did.
Yeah,
I thought he was just going to do lose yourself and then make moves. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nope.
And stuff, but like, it was crazy because like, everybody was out. You know what I mean? Everybody. You know what I mean? Just like you name the stars. Yeah, I mean, boxing stars. Like everybody was out there to see it. Didn't they have a whole red carpet event outside?
Yep. Athletes, actors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the who's who. Everybody was out there.
Right. And it makes it feels like, next time they do that again, that's the spot to be. Like, when's the next one? And it's like, like I enjoyed it, man. The fighters itself, just to be a part of that, like the matchmaking of the fights, it wasn't like, some cars, not to dog the guys, but the matchroom card where we had Boots in them fight.
Yeah.
Majority of them, it was like, it was set up almost like for those guys to dominate. Where, you watch them how they pick. It wasn't like that, bro. Like, you had like equal fights. Was like these guys make up. We had upsets in there. We seen stuff that we didn't expect to see. And
the vast majority of those fights, I would say maybe outside of one fight, probably was considered 50-50 fights.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm normally pretty good when it comes to my predictions. Like whoa,
Yeah.
they give me some more words. I'm like, oh my God, like, not expecting that. But yeah, man, hell of a card, bro. Hell of a card.
Hell yeah. Hell of a card. Beautiful card. And it was stacked, man. A lot of the times, these cards, man, they're not necessarily stacked. You usually get a few nobodies or B level, C level fighters before the main event, just because financially it has to be like that. You know what I mean? A lot of the finances go into the main event, go into the venue, so on and so forth. But like you said, Turkey Al-Sheikh is approaching this more so as a fan. He's approaching it as a fan who got bread. You know what I'm saying? A fan who also is a matchmaker, and he's putting together matches that we actually want to see. And so, with that being said, now we're getting a card full of competitive fights with A-level or previously A-level fighters on the way back, but all known names nonetheless, right? And so so the card was fire. So let's jump in, man. Let's start from the bottom. Again, some of these fights we may not tackle so deeply because we want to we want to get to the meat and potatoes of the card.
That's a lot to talk about.
It's a lot. It's really a lot, man.
Let's jump in, splash in there.
Absolutely.
It's been a long week, so we know a lot.
It's been a long. The main card, and so the main card, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was 6 fights on the main card.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 6 competitive fights on the main card. So let's jump right in. The first fight was Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran.
Yes.
If you got a chance to peep it in any fashion, you have any thoughts on that fight?
Yeah. I put it like this: Andy Cruz showed out.
Yeah.
Played his skill, man, and just like watching him fight. To me, it was like with him being a Cuban fighter, you saw that style of a Cuban fighter at work, but you've seen the effect of Bozy training him.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. Most of the times when you see Cuban fighters, they're in and then they get out. But you seen him come in, get out, and then boom, 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 right back.
Yeah.
And Antonio Moran, he made it a very competitive fight, but you saw the sharpness of Andy Cruz, man. I took my hat off to him because it was dominant. I didn't expect it to go like the way he did because he had boy walking at the
he did.
Stop.
Yes, sir.
Hell of a fight, but that style he dominated. I'm really looking forward to seeing Andy Cruz and see what could be his next fight.
Right.
See what direction where he goes, because boy, he gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Bozy Ennis. He had a lot of success on that card. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get to more soon. But shout out to him for just sprinkling, not even sprinkle, just giving his knowledge to boxers who may not be native to his gym, but eventually came to his gym or come to him for advice, for training, or whatever the case may be. And we see it translate in the ring, and we see it translate in the ring fairly quickly, to be honest with you. Sometimes it takes a boxer to get into a program, some time, some months, sometimes some years, depending on so many fights, whatever the case may be. But these guys are coming through the gym and getting that training, man, and really putting it to good use. So shout out to Bozy. Antonio Moran, he won KO. It was interesting because in the 4th round, he got rocked in the 4th round. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Moran for, he was pushing the pace all night. You know what I'm saying? He was letting his hands go, and then he rocked Cruz. But in I want to say it was the 7th round where it was either the 7th or the 11th. Forgive me, I can't remember, but that's when he rocked Moran. And it was crazy because, he was out. He was on his feet when they called it a knockdown, but when they had him walk, he stumbled all the way across the other side. It was a wrap. He was done. He was out of here. So that's all I got for that fight, man. That was a good fight. Again, just like you, interested to see what Andy Cruz does in the future. Him continuing to work with Bozy. I see good things for him. I see really good things for him. Yeah. So next fight was the David Morrell versus I believe you pronounced the name. I had it in my mind. I was practicing it, bro. But it's Galactic. Forgive me, y'all. These European, Eastern European names can be tough, right? But Kalachik, I think that's the Kalachik. I think that's how you pronounce it, Kalachik. So, what's your thoughts on that, though?
That fight was a good fight, man. It was a lot more entertaining than what I thought it was going to be. Kalachik, if that's how you pronounce his name,
right?
My man, yo, he's a thumper.
Yeah.
So, like, I felt like they was pretty, like you said, it was a 50-50 fight. It was evenly matched.
Yeah.
And even though Morrell, he got in there, he did his thing. I was in and out a lot with this fight.
Yeah.
But like I said, I saw it was just more, like you said, just evenly matched out. When it was going back and forth. At first, I didn't really know what direction it was going to go.
Right.
But, like I said, Morrell, he was definitely, he showed himself or whatever. And that's all I had on that. Like, I definitely thought he won, but felt like it still could have went the other way towards the second half of the fight or whatever. I just felt like Morrell started to pull away a little bit more. And, started letting his hands go and let him fight.
Definitely let his hands go. I'll be honest with you. I like David Morrell, right? I really do like David Morrell. Kalachnik, however you pronounce that name, Kalachik or whatever it is. I don't think he was on the same level as David Morrell. This is the one fight that I said that I believe almost every fight on paper is 50-50. This was the fight that I don't think that it was 50-50. I think David Morrell was just a better talent from jump. But both of them they let their hands go. David Morrell was good, man. I seen some things though. I saw some things. And he got some work to do, especially if he is to get a David Benavidez fight, or any fight on that level. He has the power. He's got a boxer's chance of punching.
They both have power. Like,
and definitely can talk.
Watch some of his previous fight. His pop and his flow, they just coming at each other. I think it's the age. I think kind of showed up a little bit more for being a little bit younger or whatever. And I think that overweight Kalachnik's experience or whatever.
Absolutely.
Like that age play. Well, he definitely got work. He's definitely not ready for no Benavidez yet.
Yeah. I liked the fight. I didn't love the fight. It was cool. You know what I'm saying?
I would say out of all the fights, that was probably, it was entertaining, but I would say, I would rank that probably towards the lowest.
Towards the lowest, yeah, absolutely. So the next fight was Jose Venezuela versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Interesting fight, fun fight. You know what I'm saying? Good fight. Go ahead. What's your thoughts on that fight?
Well, the real Venezuela Pitbull, man. I would say this was the fight that I overshot myself on. Honestly, thought that Pitbull was going to walk in here and dominate and show like his prowess, his power. You know what I mean? And dominate this fight. And I would say, Garcia coached a hell of a fight.
Yes,
the way he had Jose jab, pivot, and just stab or corner or whatever. Even though he got caught with a couple,
yes, he did.
He had a solid chin. Man, he stayed in there. I did not think he was going to be able to hold Pitbull off the way he did. And I honestly thought he was going to get rocked. To the point to where, he was going to be bopping all over the ring. I see he actually caught Pitbull a couple times with some punches, but he had Pitbull swinging for the fences. And this is a problem that we saw Pitbull have in one of his previous fights, where it was like seeing him kind of, swinging that haymaker, where it was just like, all right, you're not connecting. Where his size, I think, comes into play with this one, and forgive me, Burrell, he pretty much used that to advantage, and like you see him keep his distance or whatever, jab, pop, jab, and then Scarlett throw that haymaker. Soon as he did that or whatever, he left his feet. He ducked underneath it, moved out the way, and then turned them, smack. Yeah, I mean, and it was just like, yo, he did that all fight, and going on the card that way. It was like, but he showed the cheat code to fight Pitbull now. So
I think so. I think so.
Which hurts Pitbull now for any other kind of like future fights, because it's like people scared to fight you, but at the same time now, that's another loss.
Yeah, man. It's he definitely showed the way to beat Pitbull, but it's up to the opponent to be talented enough, to employ it. I'll say this: I don't think Pitbull I don't think he's gonna want a Tank rematch. He might want it, but he don't want it. You know what I'm saying? If you dig what I'm saying.
True, but I think it gives Tank the out from pressure, because like now you look at Real versus Venezuela, got knocked out by my man De Los Santos. Right. So now you may actually see that rematch, whatever. Because even though Pitbull, then he lost actually Pitbull beat De Los Santos, right?
Yes, Pitbull beat De Los Santos.
Yeah. So like now, how you look at this?
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
it definitely can happen. I'm not saying it can't and it won't happen, but I just think that he gave more ammo to Tank. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He gave more ammo to Tank based on how this fight kind of ran its course. I'll say this though. Shout out to Venezuela.
He ain't about to fight nobody just cause. Like, I need that jewelry, bro.
No. Venezuela was good, man. There was even spots in the fight where he was backing up Cruz. He had Cruz on the back foot, fighting off the back foot.
Yeah, back foot.
You know what I'm saying? And that was really, really dope. I don't think many people, like you said, you called this one wrong. I think many people called it wrong. Venezuela was sitting down on the shots, so he was hitting Pitbull, and Pitbull was still doing what he's doing. But there was Pitbull, he was popping him, and it made it like totally hurt him or break him down or anything like that. But it was enough pop on there to make him respect it. Not only was he popping him up top, he was hitting him in that body too. So man, it was a great game plan. It was a great game plan. They stayed defensive, but also still boxing, but sitting down on those shots to make Pitbull respect the shooter, so to speak. You know what I mean? So great fight, all in all, man. I think a bunch of people lost money. You know what I'm saying? Bunch of people lost money, but it was nonetheless it was a dope fight. I see a lot of people are saying they want a rematch. I don't think a rematch is going to happen because both of them kind of have their eyes set on different directions, going to do different things. So, but if they were to entertain a rematch, I would be with it for sure. I would definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that was
Yeah, you skipped the fight though, bro.
I'm a little out of order, but I'm going back. I'm going back.
Okay.
I'm a little out of order. I think I skipped the of course.
You skipped probably the fight of the night.
I probably skipped
a lot of people.
Yeah, the one that messed up my parlay. That's what that was. The one that messed up. I had a couple parlays that messed up all my parlays. But that fight you're talking about is Jarrett, the real big baby Anderson, versus Martin Bakole, African brother. Which is interesting. Before we get into that fight, if anybody has been online and saw his most recent interview, him talking about him coming out kind of publicly talking about some of the sparring sessions that he had, specifically against Usyk, There was some others, but Usyk in particular, you know, he's saying that, you know, he's dropping and knocking these guys out and sparring. It's very telling. It's very telling. And it also is kind of telling why we don't really know him that well, because you know, nobody wants to fight him. And now we know why. Now we know why. So go ahead, man. Give me your breakdown.
Actually, I'm gonna let you jump on this one and take this one first.
Yes. So here's my thing. He's being poised as the next big thing in heavyweight boxing. And what I really like about Jared is a lot of these heavyweight boxers rely on just big punching, but he actually has actual boxing skill. He has good feet. Put together combinations well. He does a lot of things well to be a heavyweight boxer. But here's the thing: you're a heavyweight boxer, and the number one trait that is needed is heavy hands, knockout punches. Right? Enter Martin Bakole at this point, right? So Jared was moving. So I want to say he was moving decently, right? But he wasn't getting out the way per se. He had a lot of good movement. But sometimes ego and pride can be the worst thing that you could have, especially in a boxing match, because once you start getting hit clean and get pissed off and start to exchange versus, you know, sticking with the plan or doing what's best to win the fight, you know, you start to, you know, ego and pride get in there like, no, I can't let this dude do this to me. Let me try to trade with him. And that was the downfall, right? He kind of stuck right in front of him, even though he was moving his head a little bit, his body, essentially he was in front of him. Bakole is a big puncher. He's a massive puncher. And, you know, he dropped him. Technically, I believe, did they call it? One of those they didn't call a knockdown, if I'm not mistaken. But I think
it was the one in the round. I forget what round it was that they waved it off.
They waved it off. Right. But he got knocked down. That was the start of it. Yeah, that was the start of it. And he was crushing them. You know what I'm saying? He was all the shots was big shots, and they was landing, and they did what they came to do. So shout out to Martin Bakole, man. He is a problem. And this was a big enough stage for not, you know, so now he can do some call outs and kind of put some of the fighters in the corner like, yo, I'm here now. I've been here. Y'all been dodging me, but now I was just on the biggest US card. You know, I have new eyes on me. You know, let's get to it, right? So, crazy fight, man. What's your take?
Yeah, this fight, I honestly believe Martin Bakole had a lot to prove. With him, you know, fighting, representing the Republic of Congo. If people don't know what's going on in Congo right now, you need to find out, because this is one of the things that's happening to, you know, not just Black people in the diaspora, but it's just like what's happening over there should not be happening, bro.
Absolutely.
I've seen people, I've spoken to people that's actually been doing work over there, and bro, you talk about millions of people, you know, saying mainly kids, that's like displaced, where they're like kind of like containment camps or concentration camps, just off land, all being due to mining and everything, which is being funded by like tons of rich companies, bro. But like, yeah, he had a lot to fight for. He definitely did that for his people. So it was a big time for the Congo. Even a homegirl who lost in the Olympics, she even gave a signal representing what's going on. You know, people are getting slaughtered daily over there. But back to the fight, Martin Bakole came out to dominate, bro. And even though Jared Anderson, you know, lost that way, you know what I'm saying, with the TKO, the knockdowns and everything, it showed a lot of his skill. Of which probably shocked him too. I've never seen him move that quickly between those punches, bro. Like the way Bakole was throwing these punches, like after he got hit the first time, he's like, oh, I be eating these, like, you know,
right.
Like, and then you see him move, like the way he was bobbing and weaving, bro. I was impressed at the defense that he had and how quickly he moved. But sooner or later, I was like, because me and you was talking at one point, I was like, yo, I think he could actually bounce back and steal this fight.
For sure.
If he could, you know what I'm saying, continue to move around and slow Bacoli down and tire him out.
Right.
The only problem was what took me, as big as Bacoli was, I did not think his conditioning was as great either.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely,
then Anderson started to slow down and get more tired because, like,
absolutely.
First, but this big nigga still coming after me.
Right. Right.
Right. It's because the size of in comparison, I did not think Bacoli was that big, bro. But he towered over Jared Anderson and had Anderson fighting off his back foot, which he couldn't really do. But then, like I said, you add the bobbing and weaving after a while, and it was just like punch right through the ropes.
Right through the ropes.
Gets up again, comes back.
Right through the ropes.
Punch him right through the ropes.
Big shots, man.
Whatever.
Huge shots.
Like I said, huge dude. But at the same time, how Jared Anderson also took that loss.
Yeah.
That was a true sportsmanship. Like that fight displayed everything, bro.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, for me, that was the fight of the night. To be honest with you, that in my eyes. I definitely look forward to seeing Myron Bacoli and other fights. I hope people don't sleep on because honestly, he could come for Usyk right now.
Absolutely.
He could come for Fury, and I see why Fury don't want to fight him.
For sure.
Like, this dude is a problem. And I'm surprised they didn't try to put him against Wilder or something like that in the past or whatever.
No, we don't want to see that, man. Not this Wilder.
Don't want to see that. But in the past, Wilder. Like, I'm surprised they didn't, like, make that happen. That would have been a great fight. You take Wilder in his prime and you take a fresher Bacoli. Like, man, that would have been fireworks right there.
Would have been fireworks. You're right about that.
That's not healthy for Wilder. But excellent fight, bro. Excellent fight.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I do want to see how Jared Anderson bounced back, though.
Man.
He might be on the ticking time clock or whatever his age. Yeah. I don't know. It's just
he's young. He's a young cat, man.
Yeah.
My thing is that he's young. But I believe there's some maturing that he needs to do.
Yeah.
Just from my understanding, again, we don't know these fighters personally. I don't know them personally and stuff like that. But, just from what's out there, it's been said that not that he takes his talent for granted or he takes his boxing life for granted, but he's still connected to certain things. You know what I'm saying? He's still connected to, you know what I mean? Certain things in the street, certain people, certain ways, you know what I'm saying? We got caught with, he got arrested, blah, blah, blah. Like, I hope that even this loss kind of just motivates him to, if he's going to rise to the occasion and he wants to, that he starts to move himself away, push away those distractions, and really give boxing his all. You know what I mean? Really give the sport his all.
Loss, bro. Even the way how he handled it, bro, it was like,
it was an eye opener.
Yeah,
because
for a lot of people, especially
for a lot of people, I don't think he thought he was going to go in there and it was going to go that way. I think that, just based on some of the demeanor and stuff, that he was just going to be too quick, too fast, too skilled for this guy, right? But losses are not bad, man. It's these are learning lessons, man, and they wake you up, man. And Jared Anderson really is, in my opinion, the next big American heavyweight superstar. You know what I'm saying? The next thing. You know what I'm saying? And when he buckles down and get away from them distractions, I think he'll be completely unstoppable, because again, for him to be a heavyweight, but to have the boxing skill that he has, that right there already makes him a super threat. He's super deadly. The way he move around a ring, the way he, his footwork, he got great legs. So it's all there. It's all there.
It was displayed too. It was like, you just can't eat that punch.
Yeah. Yeah, he just, right. It is, and yeah, and trust me, when they go back to the gym and they go back to the drawing board, I'm sure they're gonna address those shortcomings, and and work that out. You know what I'm saying? And work that out for real. So yeah, shout out to them, man. So next fight on the card, this was a very interesting fight, and I think people lost money on this fight too, which which was hold on one second. I don't even see it on here. That's very interesting. But anyway, it was Jarrell, not Jarrell. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I said you're right. The other
Yeah. Jarrell Miller, Jarrell Big Baby Miller. I get it. Sometimes I get the names confused because you got Big Baby Miller, you got what is it? The real Big Baby, he called himself? Real Big Baby.
Big Baby.
That's right. So Jarrell Miller versus Andy Ruiz. Interesting fight. You want me to go first, or you wanna go first?
I'll take this one.
Go ahead. Okay.
Right here, man. Definitely another one of those fights that spoiled the tickets for a lot of people.
Yeah, for a lot of people. Yeah.
But at the same time, too, it was fair match fight. But you saw a lot from people. I think with Andy Ruiz breaking his hand earlier in the fight.
Yeah,
I think that definitely hurt him a lot because it took a lot to pop off his punch. Which we all know that he has power, he has the agility, but you've seen towards the end of the fight, he started to weighing down.
Started fading.
Yeah, you definitely saw the effect. But you also saw Miller come out ready to go. Yeah, I mean, I think his conditioning in this fight was good. Could have been better. Yeah, I mean,
yes,
he gets the he gets to hit a lot with the laziness. You hear a lot of people say, but he's a top heavy fighter that has a lot of power and he can still move quick. And he came into this fight ready, man, ready to make it a pressure. And I think he definitely did that coming off of the Queensberry card, with the L he took there. But hell of a fight. I kind of wouldn't mind if they ran this back or whatever, if you got a healthier, Ruiz with his hand. But now it makes me question too, like, was that part of the reason why he was out for so long? That almost 2 years, he had that ring rust. But it was like, was it really that, or did he hurt his hand sparring or whatever? Because he was working. I think he was working with Canelo for a bit in his camp or whatever.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yes, but definitely wouldn't mind seeing that ran back. I just hope Ruiz actually, come back, ready to go, and hopefully, saying the broken hand really don't slow him down in the future. So, but I definitely like what I saw with the real Big Baby with his attack, and I hope he stay with it, man. I hope they just continue.
Absolutely, man. I had I don't know if I was one of the few guys, but I had Jarrell winning this fight from the time it was announced, and for a few reasons. One, even though he's always been a big dude, he's always had great stamina, and a lot of people, they look at the loss to Daniel Dubois as, he's just a big dude who ain't got no good stamina and so on and so forth. And I would have to say, if people took that fight and judged him off of that, you might be a casual. You may not be super familiar with a lot of his other performances, for the simple fact that he's always been big, but he's always had really good stamina for his size, right?
Yes.
Putting together combinations, going in 12 rounds or whatever the case may be. So he's always been big. But the Daniel Dubois fight, it was short notice fight. He didn't have a full camp. There was a lot of missing pieces where, and his stamina, paid the price. He just didn't have to win, right? I knew that when he got a full camp, right, that he was going to be better. Couple reasons. One, the doping allegations. Well, not allegations, that it is what it is, right? He was found guilty for it. But he had the doping thing going on. He lost to Daniel Dubois, who, in my opinion, in my personal, honest opinion, I think that Jarrell Miller is more talented than Dubois. So he had those things going in. He had to come with it, right? And then when we started seeing a lead up and how he was cutting weight, I knew that he was taking it serious. You know what I'm saying? I knew at this point he was taking it serious. Now all of a sudden he doing some work with Bozy. You know he really taking it serious if he out there in Philly getting busy with them, right? So, you know, but taking nothing away from Andy Ruiz, man. Andy, you know, is a threat. People can talk all they want to talk about, you know, oh, he's a big body, this or whatever the case. These is heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? Like people, you know, they forget how some heavyweights used to look. You know what I mean? So these they're big guys. That's how they're gonna be. Andy got fast hands. Andy got good feet. You know what I'm saying? He dethroned Anthony Joshua at a time where nobody thought he was gonna beat Joshua.
I actually had him for the upset.
Did you? Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's totally what's up. So, you know, he all those things were happening. And, you know, I'm in an interview, Jarrell Miller said how he was gonna fight this fight. And he did just that. He said, Andy doesn't fight well going backwards. And his goal was to pushing back, right? That's literally what he did. And also for the DAZN commentators, you know, I really enjoy DAZN as a platform, but DAZN commentators, unfortunately, are some of my least favorite commentators. Right? I remember one time, man, I put in headphones and watched the fight because I couldn't take it no more. And then not just DAZN, you get this all over. I hear it at ESPN, you know, all that different stuff. Yeah, man, absolutely. They, you know, there's favoritism that goes on in the commentary. And sometimes I don't think that they're looking at these fights equally in the equal footing, right? So, you know, when they were talking and they were saying like, you know, they were basically saying that they believe that he was that Jarrell was kind of pushing them back and, you know, wasn't doing certain things, that it may not have been a strategy. That was absolutely a strategy. He told you exactly how he was going to fight this man.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely a strategy for him to push him back, put his weight on him, tire him out, you know, and then he started working the body, flurries to the body, flurries to the top, pushing him, weighing him down, you know, kept grabbing him, holding him, weighing him down, putting that weight on him, flurries to the body. It was rinse, wash, repeat the entire fight.
Very tactical with this fight, bro.
Very tactical. They had a plan.
Like, how he did it had me like in complete shock.
Right.
Or whatever.
Exactly.
Just like how he was doing it, I was like, "Oh, go ahead, brother."
Yeah.
He was dominating, bro. Like, and
fought that fight. Yep. Fought that way the entire fight. That was a strategy. That wasn't something that he was making up on the fly. DAZN commentators, you know. So shout out to him for, you know, for them coming up with a strategy and sticking to it and prevailing from it, man. And you know, Andy hit him with some nice clean shots, but he was blasting him with clean shots too. Both of them got great chins. You know what I'm saying? That decision though. What's your thoughts on that though?
Honestly, that decision, I feel like he got robbed.
Yeah.
I definitely think he should have got the win. Like I said, the pop came off of Ruiz's punches.
Yeah.
And you've seen the weight, like the overbearingness, like I said, of the weight, and it affected him. And you could tell at the end of the fight on Ruiz's face, it's just like, like you got the best of me. Like
yeah.
I mean,
if you look from the fifth,
you got the draw.
if you look, no, I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
No,
if you look from the fifth round on, Ruiz's mouth is open, he's sucking air, pause. You know what I'm saying? Like he's really being drained. He was really being drained. Don't get me wrong, he will pull off a flurry, you know what I'm saying, here and there, whatever the case may be. He did break his hand. We saw the bone sticking up out the hand. That, you know, I'm sure that played a big role in his performance moving forward. But for sure, it happens in boxing, right? But at the same time, man, you know, Big Baby, you know what I'm saying, was just had too much on it, man. It was just really too good. Great strategy. and it worked out, man. So shout out. Well, it didn't work out actually with this draw BS.
Yeah, hopefully they can be able to run that back, but I don't know how long it'll really take them to in his hand for them to bounce that back, but hopefully that get ran back for the two of them.
Yeah. I don't foresee a rematch, but I think it was good enough for a rematch. I think if the money calls for it, we'll see a rematch, but probably not. Probably won't see a rematch. But all in all, good fight. Good fight.
Yeah, overall, yes, sir.
Yeah, man. All right. So we here. We made it.
The main event.
Made it, man. The main event. Terrence Bud Crawford versus Israel Madrimov. Hell of a fight, in my opinion. Might be my fight of the night, possibly. I really love the Big Baby fight. I love a bunch of these fights, but this might be my fight of the night for various reasons. You know what I'm saying?
Saw the science. You saw the chess match between these two.
Yeah.
It's very tactical, bro.
Tactical. You want to start or you want me to start?
Yeah, I'll start with this one.
Yeah.
I'll be quick with it.
Okay.
We all saw what happened. I think the aftermath of this fight is what was kind of frustrating with a lot of the commenting. With Eddie Hearn, pretty much even Eddie Hearn knew that he lost the fight, but he was complaining about it not being 2-1 on the call card.
Right.
But with this fight, take nothing away from Israel Madrimov. I think he's going to be a dangerous opponent for a lot of people. But what you saw in Bud produce, him transferring that power, coming up to fight 154, it showed. You see how I think he held it great. I think he brought that power up very well to fight him. But you also saw what Bud do best, and that's fight and box. I think Israel Madrimov has a great inside game. If you watch any of his previous fights, you see how he'd jump in and start to pound away on a lot of guys. He tried that with Bud, and many of the times that I saw him try it, Bud, literally his inside game was tap, tap, tap. It was like a technician, and it's just like, he boxed him right out, and he had to come back out and reset. And you seen it how it just, you saw his face after the fight. It was pepper. You know what I mean? He got a lot of good punches in on Bud. You see, Bud has a strong jaw. He was able to absorb a lot of those punches and eat those well. But it was a great chess match, and with Bomac in his corner, them boys there, they dangerous. They dangerous, man. And I can see why Canelo may think twice, say some of the things. I definitely don't think that fight. I do think that fight might be a little too much for Bud. Just because and you said it good, but just showing how it went, I don't think going up in weight he will be able to carry that same power. And with Canelo, he's just a lot more solid at that. He's been boxing there for a while. He's solid, and he has power. It's no joke about Canelo. Not to make this about Canelo at all. But, like I said, I don't really think that fight needs to happen. I would definitely love to see Bud, see who's next for Bud, though. Who's ready to happen. Would it be Boots? There was another fight I was thinking about.
He talked about Fundora, but I think the Fundora
came back.
I think I think it's pretty much done with Fundora and Spence. Some fan reached out to Fundora and Fundora responded. He said, the fight is not off. The date was just moved, and that pretty much confirms that him and Spence will fight at some point. That's probably all you're locked in.
My hats off goes to the Bud. I definitely want to see what's next actually for him. But he boxed a hell of a fight, man. Like, what you got on that?
Man, so I see it a little differently. Honestly, first and foremost, I know Eddie Hearn was pissed at the he was well actually he was pissed. He had made a wrong assessment initially. He heard the cards wrong. And he he acknowledged that. So that's that. But he was still pissed at it, especially that 116, 110. I'm sorry, 116, 112. He wasn't happy about that. So what I saw and what I took from it was this was the most flustered we ever seen Bud in a fight. This was technically probably his toughest fight. And there, there's a saying, and they say that, you have to beat the champion in order to become the champion. It can't be necessarily close. It can't be, all these different things. And, you have to beat the champion convincingly to become the champion. Now, is that something that I totally agree with? Not necessarily. I think that if the numbers line up and you win the most rounds and so on and so forth, then you should win. The judges should judge accordingly, and you should win the fight. A lot of people think you gotta, damage the champion and do all this different stuff, and it has to be super convincing, for you to win the fight. I think you should be fair no matter if you have a belt or not, personally. But with that being said, Madrimov was never he was moving. He was never steady in one place. Bud had a lot of issues getting off clean shots, if you ask me. He did do well putting together combos, but in my opinion, I didn't think all of them landed or even landed flushly. A bunch of them landed, but not flush, right? He threw uppercuts, missed them. Bud was even being pushed back in this fight. It was just they had a good game plan for Bud. Bud is Bud, though. You know what I'm saying? He's a master boxer puncher. And he was never out of the fight. He was always in the fight. It was always competitive from start to finish. But in my opinion, I think Madrimov hit him with the bigger, cleaner shots. That right cross, when it landed big. I thought he probably didn't, but it looked like when you hit Bud, when you hit him in the nose, I thought it broke. You know what I mean? Like he was smashing Bud with that right hand, and getting out of there enough to where he wasn't getting a lot of damage. His face was marked up, of course.
Obviously his eye, but that's
right. But eye was closing. You know what I'm saying? He had Bud almost with looking like that. You know what I mean? So it was a competitive fight. I think if anything, I think the best ruling would have been a draw, in my opinion. But I personally edge Madrimov for this fight. Now I know we got and listen, we got very sensitive Bud Crawford fans that if you say anything in opposition to him, they don't like it. They might bomb the videos and stuff. Yeah, I don't have to do that. It's just my opinion. I'm not a professional, right? I'm not a professional judge. It's just my opinion. Is based on what I saw. But based on what I saw, I thought that Madrimov landed the cleaner shots. I thought Bud was busier, which I think, in my opinion, I think that's what the judges saw. They saw that he let his hands go a bit more. I think if Madrimov would have let his hands go earlier, he may have given Bud officially his first loss. That was
different if you would have seen him more.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's what I've seen other boxing pundits and analysts say. I think Eddie Hearn was saying something like that. It's a chess match, right?
Yeah.
And you go in when you go in, but I think if he would have just maybe let his hands go a little bit earlier, he would have got some of them earlier rounds, because Bud also was wasn't letting his hands go early either. But once he started letting them go, he was throwing punches and bunches. But I think when it comes to the cleaner shots, I think when it comes to the ring generalship, well, the ring generalship, they both had ring generalship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do think Madrimov, in my opinion, was doing the most damage. But all in all, man, Bud won, and it's all good. Like I don't feel any way about it. I thought it was a great boxing match, and that's all that matters to me.
But
Is that they have a great boxing match. and it was that. It lived up to the hype. And I think people who are not familiar with Madrimov or never seen him, he's gained a ton of new fans because his boxing style is amazing. His speed, 100%. Everything. He's awesome. So he is, and he's going to be a problem for a lot of people at 154. He's going to be a big problem for him to do what he did with Bud and go the distance and give Bud a lot of problems and a lot of different looks. Come on, Bud is, in my opinion, the pound for pound best boxer, even over Canelo at this particular point, right? Not that doesn't mean he can beat Canelo, but I'm just saying based on what he's accomplished over these last couple of years, I feel like has been more. And so if you're able to do that to the pound for pound best current boxer, man, you're going to be a problem for any and everybody. You know who I would like to see him fight based on certain circumstances? I would love to see how Spence would fare against him.
I was thinking that same.
I would love to see how Spence. That's all going to be dependent on, what's going on with this Fundora fight and how he looks and stuff. I don't know if Spence is the same Spence, but if he looks good,
that'd be the scary part.
That right.
Somebody like Madrimov,
right?
With, how you left the Crawford fight and how the team back in the ring. Like I said,
right.
I don't think Spence is the same Spence, and I'm a Spence fan.
Right.
Yeah.
He has to convince. He has to convince the people that was a one-time thing, right? Like he has to convince people that he's still able to be competitive, at a high level. You know what I mean? And I understand he lost to Bud extremely convincingly, one-sided fight. But we can't really see that going forward. You know what I'm saying? Like if you get in here with Fundora and Fundora have his way with Spence, I don't like to say retire or hang it up, but there's obviously some kind of disconnect going on, and you would have to evaluate, your career going forward. But if he comes out,
what I would definitely like to see is, I would like to see Spence fight, in his next fight to where, because the one thing that I do give him going into the Crawford fight, and just paying, especially from paying this attention to other fights since then, is how some of these fighters come into these fights dehydrated to make weight.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I would definitely like to see him like, hey, was that a true factor in that fight when you fought Bud? Because that will hurt you.
That will hurt you.
Yeah, it'll run you down. And one, I definitely think that's dangerous for a lot of these fighters. Because I think some of these fighters, position people like, that's one thing about the Jake Paul thing that I don't like, is because he have a lot of these fighters who he fight who try to kill crazy weight, or he's like super overweight compared to the fighter who he takes on, and you see how it turns out for them with him coming out victorious at times. So I definitely would like to see how he can bounce back. But hell of a fight for Crawford.
Hell of a fight for Crawford again. Just because that's my opinion, it does not mean Crawford ain't who Crawford is. He won that fight in the eyes of the judge. He actually won that fight in the eyes of a lot of people. A lot of the boxing pundits believe that he controlled the fight and won the fight. I'm cool with that. I'm 100% cool with that. Again, more than the fighter, I'm a fan of the sport. You know what I mean? Sport first, fighter second for me. So dope fight, beautiful event, Riyadh season event. I can't wait to see more. Just seeing what they did, holding the greatest heavyweight event, now the greatest U.S. boxing card that we've probably ever seen. I'm excited for what's to come in the future for them. And everybody else. I'm not sleeping on PBC. I'm not sleeping on, what ESPN got coming. But they got to come with it. They got to come with it at this point. Riyadh sees the match room. The zone is elevating the game. Looks like they're signing more and more names. As you saw, Shakur in the front row with Turkey Al-Sheikh and Eddie Hearn and
like what was that all about?
Right. And then, but you seen Turkey grab him, and I think he said, "Are you ready?" or something like that. And Shakur was like, "I'm definitely ready," or he's like, "I'm ready." Then he had the tit for tat with Loma. You know what I'm saying? So things are happening, things are brewing. So I'm excited for what they're doing over there, man. But I'm excited for what's coming up in general. I wanted to real quick before we get out of here. I wanted to highlight some of the fights that's coming up because we do have some good fights, not only on Matchroom, not only on Matchroom, but also in general, other promotions, right? So we got a big one that's coming up. This is going to be the return of Jarrett Hurd, man. Jarrett Hurd has had kind of a rocky road in the past few years or whatever, but this is going to be his return. He's going to be fighting Jason Rosario. So that's going to be interesting. This is on sports betting, presented by Sports Betting AG, I believe it is. It's a promotion I've never heard of. But it's going to be interesting to see Jarrett Hurd back in the ring. This one, I'm gonna say it, but I'm gonna move on from it. Floyd Mayweather versus Toro Gotti, the third rematch, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We got Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu is coming back. He's going to be fighting. I believe you pronounce it Mazada. This is going to be in Sydney. So this is a home game for him. So this is good. This is going to be good. A good one. Now moving into September really quickly. I won't go past September. We got my man Inoue versus Doheny. You know, everybody know that knows me. They know that Inoue is one of my top pound for pound, if not my pound for pound favorite boxer. I love this brother. He is ridiculous with it. So I can't wait for him. And then we can't really kind of go past September without talking about without mentioning Canelo Alvarez versus Berlanga. Yeah, versus Edgar Berlanga. So that is
card too, bro. You see,
say it again.
I said that's an interesting card.
It's a hell of a card. You got Danny Swift Garcia on that card. No, it's a dope card. It's a really dope card. I can't wait for this card. You know, we talk our stuff about Canelo, but I'm gonna be tuned in. So it's all good. Definitely. Yeah, and then last but not least, again, this is not even on for September, but just not to continue to go on. We got Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois. Dubois had a good showing his last fight. Called out AJ. Had been calling out AJ, and he got his wish. So that's coming up. That is September 21st. Wembley Stadium. Say it again.
I said that was the 21st. I was trying to figure out the date.
21st, yeah, 21st of September. Wembley Stadium, 100,000 in attendance. Wembley holds 100,000 people. These soccer stadiums is crazy, and Wembley and AJ can fill it. AJ can and will fill Wembley Stadium. It's going to be a move.
They love him. That's their like.
They love him. Yeah,
straight up. So that's going to be a big fight. For London's. So tune into that.
Absolutely. Actually, real quick, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, which was canceled, which was postponed, is now back on for November 15th. I just wanted to put that out there. Netflix. November 15th. The Netflix joint. Usyk Fury, December 21st. So it's loaded. You know, the year is loaded. Alicia Baumgartner just announced a new fight. Like, so, you know, boxing is going to be good for the rest of the year. So I'm interested. You know, I can't wait. But yeah, that's all I got, man. Anything else you got for this episode?
We got a lot to talk about though later in the week because tons of stuff's gonna be in. But I think we definitely had an action-packed show. But it's gonna be a lot coming. A lot to come up to talk about, man.
Absolutely.
You know, like I said, I would like to see how this, what transpires between the Loma and Shakur. What's going to be next for Tank? Because I know pretty much with Tank now, a lot has changed. Actually, for the Bud, I definitely think there's going to be a lot of talks to see who he's going to be fighting, especially with Charlo getting back into the mix at 154. So we're definitely gonna have a lot to actually talk about. But yeah, man, until then, next show or whatever.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. Also, everyone, I want to thank y'all for just rocking out for us. You know, we're a new podcast. You know, the presentation that we currently have is not the one that we're going to have in the next few weeks. There will be changes. There will be things coming down the pipeline, man, and we're going to continue to just keep building. That's right. Bear with us. That's right. Hit that like. That's subscribe. You know what I mean? Share it with your family. Share it with your people. Yeah. You know that boxing is still being talked about, man. So bear with us. We got a lot of dope
send us some boxing heads out there. Anything,
absolutely.
Feel free to tap in, man, and definitely get back to you.
Absolutely. You can ask us questions, boxing questions, ask us about us. We're brand new. Y'all ain't never seen us before. You might want to know a little bit about us. So, you know, hit us up, man.
Know about boxing, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, hit us up, man. Again, Pose My World Podcast. We get with y'all soon, man. Peace.
Peace.